Things just took a shocking turn for the New York Knicks in regards to their pathway to the NBA Finals, which, as we all know, is the team's goal. And even though this does scare some fans, honestly, Knicks fans should be very happy about their pathway to the NBA Finals and also the way that the NBA playoffs are currently working out for a few different reasons right now, guys. Reasons that we are going to dive into this video on Knicks Digest. Because, guys, as we all know, the NBA regular season has come to a close, and now we wait a week before playoffs get underway. The New York Knicks play their first game in 6 days from now. And, guys, up to that point, we're going to be having so many videos for you breaking down everything on the Knicks, everything on the upcoming playoff series, and just everything on the news and how they get to the NBA Finals. And if you're part of that 58% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest, make sure to go ahead and subscribe. We do have videos coming out every single day. We will have videos coming out multiple times a day now throughout this entire playoff run, at least 2 videos every day. So make sure to stay tuned for all that, and let's jump into it because, guys, well, here we go. Playoff basketball is back, and as the Knicks, they are going to try to make their run to the first NBA championship they've had in a while. And when this Knicks team began making the playoffs again, they started off with getting bounced by the Atlanta Hawks in the first round. And now they get a chance to begin the ending of this run to the finals by beating the Atlanta Hawks in the first round, getting the first step of revenge, which will be 2 completely different teams. But the Knicks and the Hawks, as we all know, will be facing off once again in the playoffs, and it is something that has a bunch of us excited. It was widely expected that Jalen Brunson and the rest of this Knicks team would be facing the Toronto Raptors, but things took a turn at the last minute, and now they're playing Atlanta, which does have fans worried, and we are going to discuss why that is. But real quick, also, I do want to say thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring this video. PrizePicks is the #1 sports picks app in the United States today, where you can get in on all the action. When you download PrizePicks, make sure to sign up using code DIGEST. It helps the channel out a bunch. And when you play $5, you get 50 instantly in lineups. So it works out for all of us involved. Now, let's jump back into the video. We will have some picks for you later on at the end of this. But when it comes down to Jalen Brunson, Jalen Johnson, and, well, the supporting casts of each team, it gets very, very exciting. Now, James Edwards did tweet out about this happening and everything going on, saying the Boston Celtics, who are starting Luka Garza, Harper, Shireman, Walsh, and Schluga are up 15 points over the Magic, who are trying to win unreal if it holds, as well as the Atlanta over Toronto results. The Knicks are hosting Atlanta. The Knicks have 2 wins against Atlanta, both by 3 points. The Hawks beat the Knicks by 12 in their win on the season. It's important to note that win, the Knicks did not have Karl-Anthony Towns. Ian Begley then said the Knicks will face the Hawks in the first round. It's obviously a tough matchup. New York snapped Atlanta's 13-game home winning streak earlier this week, winning a tight game with some big shots from Jalen Brunson down the stretch in a game that many Hawks fans thought they deserved to win, and that CJ McCollum did hit a full court buzzer beater, but he did not get it off in time, so he didn't beat the buzzer at all. Now, Knicks Muse also tweeted out, and correctly, the Hawks are 22-9 since February 1st. Every single year, we get screwed with this stuff. Even with a series win, it's a grind of a series, and it absolutely is. Look, I understand why there's some cause for concern. The Knicks played the Raptors 5 times this past season, and they won all 5 games. Not a single one of those games was within 10 points. Like, the Knicks, they had the Raptors number. It felt like, all right, the Knicks will play the Raptors. That's a series we could run through, be ready for Boston. But here's the thing. I think I speak for many Knicks fans that I obviously am a bit concerned, and I know the Hawks do have a pathway to beating the Knicks in the series. I don't expect the Hawks to win. I expect the Knicks to win this, and I don't think it's going to take them all that long to get it done. I don't think they're going to sweep the Hawks, but I do think it'll be a 5-game series. I think the Knicks will win both games at home, probably drop one of those 2 at Atlanta, and then go back to New York and close that thing out. Look, obviously, it's interesting. When the Knicks played the Hawks last time around 5 years ago, there was not a single Knick on their playoff roster that played. Mitchell Robinson was the only player who was on the team, and he was out for the year with an injury. So the Knicks started Nerlens Noel. One of the big reasons they lost is because they didn't have Mitch, who could stop Clint Capella, because Mitch is just better at everything than Clint Capella. Also, the thing is, Clint Capella plays for the Houston Rockets now, so he's not on the Hawks. Instead, the Hawks have Onyeka Okongwu as a starter, a great player. I'm not saying Okongwu isn't a very talented player, but also at the same time, Karl-Anthony Towns, who many people are worried about because he's been up and down this season, but up recently. He has averaged 28.1 points, 13.1 rebounds, and 3.7 assists in 7 games versus Okongwu since Cat found his way to New York. I am definitely a bit concerned. It's playoffs, of course. I'm concerned, a bad stretch, and all of a sudden we're out. But I'm really, really pretty damn confident that the Knicks are going to be able to handle this. Now, James Edwards did speak on a lot going over the Knicks, and we are going to look at that as well. Shout out to James Edwards. He's the absolute man. As he said, who or what is the biggest X factor for the Knicks? And he said, for the Knicks, it's Mikal Bridges. There are games when you forget that he's on the floor. When his jump shot isn't falling, Bridges can contribute a little or can contribute little to the scoring column because he doesn't get to the free throw line or attack the rim with high volume in the half court. There are times when the point of attack defense isn't what it needs to be for the Knicks to be a top 10 defense. New York is a much better team when it can get steady production on both ends from the man whom it gave up 5 first-round picks for 2 summers ago. Bridges just needs to be consistent, not elite, especially against Atlanta, a team that has good guards and wings. Now, he also did mention from this that one trend he's watching heading into this matchup also depends on Mikal a lot too, because he said his three-point shooting. On the season, before Sunday's regular season finale, the Knicks ranked 12th in three-point attempts per game and 4th in percentage, which is very good. Since March 1st, however, New York just ranked 19th in three-point percentage and 14th in efficiency, which is not as good. The Hawks ranked 8th in three-point attempts and 4th in three-point percentage during the regular season, and the Knicks have struggled defending the three-point line because, well, they don't. They protect the rim and kind of let you shoot more. Brown wants New York to get up 43s per game. The Knicks haven't had the volume as of late and haven't been making the ones that they do get up at the top tier clip. Now, also, Edwards did mention that he still imagines the Knicks will beat the Knicks, saying the Knicks and Hawks will have competitive games all season, except when Atlanta beat New York by 12 in one of its 3 matchups between the two teams. New York won both their games by 3 points. The Hawks have a potent offense and a starting lineup that has played well as any 5-man group in basketball since it was put together around the trade deadline. New York's starting lineup hasn't been nearly as good, but I think the Hawks will struggle on the rebounding of Towns and Robinson, Knicks in 6. Here's the thing. I get it. A lot of this hinges on Mikal. Mikal is set up very well to have a good series. First of all, Mikal's been good in the playoffs, not just with the Knicks last year. He's been consistently a good playoff performer throughout his NBA career. That is something that we know about Mikal Bridges. He's good when it matters most. It's what all these 3 Villanova guys have always been able to do. Their best brand of basketball with Brunson, Hart, Bridges, said, screw it, even Dante DiVincenzo. All of these guys, their best moments have been in the playoffs. All 4 of them with the Knicks, their best moments have been in the playoffs. It's always been that way. Devo averaged, what was it, 18, 19 points per game in that playoff run that he was with the Knicks for. Mikal was the reason they beat Boston. Josh Hart, enough said there. Jalen Brunson is, well, every playoffs he shows why he's one of the greatest to ever put on the orange and blue. Like, we see this, and I get it. But at the same time, when we look at this Knicks team, they're prepared. Are the Hawks? Let's be real. CJ McCollum, yeah, he is. He's been to a conference finals once and has been in the playoffs just a lot of times in his career. He's been around for a bit. Jalen Johnson, we've never seen him be the first option in a playoff series before, and he's also going to have OG Anunoby draped all over him, which isn't good for him. Now, at the same time, we look at Mikal Bridges, who probably won't guard CJ McCollum. I imagine that'll be Josh Hart, and I imagine that Mikal will be on Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's less of a guy who would be on the point of attack, which makes it better for Mikal, because Mikal could play his team help defense style that made him second to Defensive Player of the Year voting that one year, or third, excuse me. But overall, what we see is the fact that, as Edwards also mentioned, Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns out there with Onyeka Okongwu and Jock Landale as the guys for Atlanta. I imagine the Knicks will dominate the rebound battle. I also don't think this will take 6 games. Personally, I think the Hawks are going to try to get physical with them. I think the Knicks will bounce back. I think Jalen Brunson, as per usual, who's been good against Dyson Daniels throughout his career, I do imagine that Brunson and the entire team will get rolling the way they have in past years in the playoffs. Look, I get it. Dyson Daniels, the Great Barrier Thief, one of the best nicknames in basketball. Overall, I get it. They're good. And Dyson's a great defender. He's one of the best in the NBA, and it's going to be tough for Brunson. I also think that Jalen Brunson is going to be able to figure it out the way he's figured it out throughout his career up to this point. And on top of that, I also sincerely do think that Karl-Anthony Towns is set up to have a monster season or monster series. I mean, look at it. You can't put that wing on cat situation that you do with the Hawks, because who do you put on him? Jalen Johnson? Yeah, and then Onyeka Okongwu doubles, and Josh Hart is hitting threes. He shot 41% from deep this year. At the same time, if Josh Hart's not shooting threes, the Knicks will put Deuce out there, and all of a sudden, it's going to be a 3-point bonanza if Okongwu, who's too small for Towns anyway, isn't on him. And then if Mitchell Robinson is there, you can't put a small guy on Cat, or you have to get double big going. And if the Knicks do run double big, the Hawks are screwed because Mitch does create a lot of space because you can't leave him. He will get every offensive rebound, and he doesn't have to sit in the paint to do it. He can spread out a little bit and then just run in if he gets doubled. Cat's a phenomenal passer out of double teams. He's going to get a lot of dunker spot attempts and also a ton of rebounds as well. So when we look at this, I do think the Knicks are in great position to beat the Atlanta Hawks. I really don't see too much of a pathway to the Hawks winning this series. I don't think they'll have enough offense to do it. I know they can hit the three well, don't get me wrong. I know Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I know that Jalen Johnson. I know that CJ McCollum are all very good offensive players. But the Knicks, they have by far the best player in the series. They have the second best player in the series. So I'm not that concerned. But guys, I do want to know what you think about this. And let's get into some picks as well. Shout out to Prize Picks once again for sponsoring this video. And the picks that I'm going with today are tomorrow's play-in game between the Miami Heat and the Charlotte Hornets. Now, I have Davion Mitchell getting more than 8.5 points, as Davion Mitchell has been very good in playoff moments throughout his time with the Miami Heat. We saw that against Cleveland, even though the rest of the team didn't really perform. Davion Mitchell had an excellent run of it. And Con Kneppel, who has just been a monster this season. I am taking him to get more than 17.5 points. Look, I get it. The Heat are a solid team and everything, and they know how to win in these situations. But Kneppel has been great, and I do imagine that they're going to play very fast on the Heat, who are going to try to slow them down. I also do think the Hornets are going to win this game. But more than anything, I do think that Con Kneppel is going to have a very, very good game. He's going to continue to score the ball well from deep, and he will get over that 17.5 points mark. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, guys. Go Knicks.